Welcome back to the Sports Interaction Studio for the second episode. We have former Toronto Blue Jays pitcher Ricky Romero in the studio with us. Welcome, Ricky.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Kind of starting off, the Jays started off hot. There was a little bit of like this, vibe around them that they were going to be World Series contenders this year. How do you feel about that statement? Do you think it's still possible for them?
Yeah, I think it's possible. It's definitely one of those things where I feel like a lot of people throw out if the playoffs started today, they wouldn't be in the playoffs, or they would be. Well, the season doesn't end. Yeah. That's why you play 162 games, and a lot can happen. And we've seen the team at a very, very high level, and we've seen them play not so well. Like, Toronto Blue Jays are loaded. When you look at that lineup and you're just like, man, name by name, they match up very well with a lot of teams.
What kind of grade would you give them? Like A, B, C, D, if you want to get specific, A+. I don't think it's going to go there.
Honestly, I think I'd give them anywhere from a B-, maybe a C+.
Okay.
I think that's
pretty good, actually.
I mean, You look at the pitching staff, 1 through 5, and obviously Manoah has struggled, and we know the struggles that he's been going through. But you look at the other 4 guys, they've done their job.
Right.
I mean, they've given the team a chance to win, and that's all you can ask for from the starting staff. But when you look at depth of starting pitching, I don't know if they have that. I feel like the offense they get hot, they get hot, they get cold, they get cold. I mean, it happens.
So as it's getting closer to trade deadline, end of July, or do you think it's at that point yet, right? Like maybe it is trading assets like Chapman, Merrifield, or are they content with where they're at, you think, and just going to ride it out?
I think once the halfway point comes, the trade deadline comes, I think they're obviously going to assess where they're at. And if it's possible, I mean, we've seen, if they get it in as a wild card team, we've seen wild card teams win the World Series. So that's not a problem. They have the depth when it comes to starting pitching. They have to go and win a series. That's for sure.
So being a former player and being around the guys in the clubhouse, what is it, do you think right now is kind of like that's ebbing and flowing in between the cold bats, hot bats in between? What could those changes be? Really anything.
I wish I could tell you, but if I was talking hitting, I'm sure hitters would want to smack me across the face. Let me tell you, I've stepped foot in the batter's box. It's not easy at the big league level.
So Bo and Vladdy haven't been signed long term.
Can you keep both? Or
I know, that's what I keep saying, but I don't know. I'm like, you got to keep both, but then obviously some fans feel very differently and they're very one or the other.
But let me tell you that if you said last year it was like, oh, we got to keep Vlad, we got to get rid of Bo. This year everyone's like,
of course. Everyone flip-flops with the better player.
Exactly. Honestly, if you're an organization and you have 2 cornerstone guys, 2 guys that you can build a franchise around, it's those 2 guys.
Who are you picking for the World Series if you're picking right now?
I think the Atlanta Braves probably right now.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Thank you so much
for
joining me today.